Marigot. And the biggest night of the season is here. Madfest 2026 presents International Artist Night. One stage, one massive lineup, world-class talent live and direct in Marigot. The crowd, the performances you will be talking about all year long. Artist Asa Bantan, Nige Boy, the youngest and the baddest signal band, Marigot's very own dynamic and inches. Nice DJs on the cast, DJ Slim, DJ Abby, King Ford, and DJ Appetite. Saturday, May 30th, Marigot Fisheries Complex. Doors and vibes from 10 p.m. International Artist Night, Mayfest 2026. A night you don't want to miss. Be there or be square. Purchase tickets from FourCircleTickets.com, Bullseye Pharmacy, Country Style Bakery, Kenville, Big Shop, Marigot, Country Style Bread Depot opposite Astapan, Country Style Bread Depot at Maho Bus Stop, Deepex, Last Flight Bar and Grill in Marigot, or Simon on the sailboat. Man is Marigot.
If you know quality, then you must know the manufacturers of Dominica's finest rums. Belfast Estate Limited, over 80 years leading the industry with exceptional standards and formidable customer service. We present the manufacturers of BB Rum, Soca Rum, Red Cap Rum, Cask Rum, and the signature Belfast Estate Rum Punch. With island-wide distribution daily, Belfast Estate Limited has cemented its mark as the distributor of choice for products like Eldorado range of rums and creams, Kubali Bear, Corona Bear, Guinness, Root Boy drink, and of course the Sunblast juices, Thomas Snacks, Vitamalt, and Pine Hill juices. Call the office at 440-7032 or visit the distribution outlet at Jimmy Dominica. Follow on Facebook or Instagram at Belfast Estate. Belfast Estate Limited, your leading manufacturer and distributor of rums in Dominica.
All right, Dominica, we're here. Remember this morning I told you that MMC Development has suddenly reported that the legal dispute that was reported earlier with the government of Dominica is false. And of course, it reads, MMC Development says report legal dispute with government, false, determined to see airport complete. So they are now determined to see airport complete. And a couple of weeks ago, months maybe, they did report that they were taking the government to court. Now, I'm just asking. Who is talking the truth? Who is talking the truth? Because 1 week before, I put the question to the Prime Minister of Dominica. So are you saying that the Prime Minister has been economical with the truth? Or are you saying, so who's telling the truth? Is it the Prime Minister or is it the MMCD? The Prime Minister did say that when I posed the question to him, Mr. Prime Minister. We've been told that MMC has taken the government to court. Can you give us an update on that, if that is really so?
Yes, they would have taken the government to court. I think they were badly advised on this matter. We continue to engage them on this, and the legal process or whatever process take its course. But clearly they've been badly advised by their actions. But the lawyers will deal with these matters. But this has not affected the airport construction. You see, will continues to take place apace, and we look forward to its successful completion.
So you heard the Prime Minister again? MMC, are you telling the government or the people of Dominica the truth? Or should I turn the question to the Prime Minister, who just said this on national radio? MMC, what is it that you have to hide? We've been told that MMC has taken the government to court. Can you give us an update on that, if that is really so?
Yes, they would have taken the government to court. I think they were badly advised on this matter.
You want to hear it again?
On this, and
I'll play it again from the very start, very, very start. We've been told that MMC has taken the government to court. Can you give us an update on that, if that is really so?
yes, they would have taken the government to court. I think they were badly advised on this matter. We continue to engage them on this, and the legal process or whatever process take its course. But clearly they've been badly advised by their actions. But the lawyers will deal with these matters. But this has not affected the airport construction. You see, will continues to take place apace, and we look forward to its successful completion.
For 493095, now I allow them, Mr. Franklin Peter Moses, the reports presented this morning, or that came circulating this morning, that they were, or they have been, they changed the story around, MMCD. What is the real truth? Franklin Peter Moses, tell me.
Montreal Management Consultants Development Limited, MMCD, has denied reports that it has taken legal action against the government of Dominica, stating that no arbitration or court proceedings are currently underway between the two parties. This clarification follows a March 30, 2026 published article by Caribbean News Global, which claimed that MMCD had initiated formal arbitration proceedings against the government. According to the CNG, Project Director Carl Murad said arbitration was considered a last resort and reflected the seriousness of unresolved issues surrounding compliance with product conditions tied to agreements between the company and the state. In that article, Murad was quoted as saying that the dispute involved commitments that have not been fulfilled in accordance with our agreement, while noting that the company had invested major financial resources, personnel, and opportunity costs into the project. The write-up also highlighted MMCD's involvement in several major development projects in Dominica, including the Marigot Hospital, the Dominica Grammar School, the Maho School, multiple sports facilities, and most notably, the construction of the long-awaited international airport. However, in a subsequent statement, the company firmly rejected claims that legal action had been found against the government. It also indicated that it wished to unequivocally reaffirm its commitment to completing the Dominica International Airport project, describing it as a key part of the country's national development. MMCD further stated that no legal proceedings or arbitration are currently in effect against the government of Dominica, and emphasized that its relationship with the government remains grounded in mutual respect, transparency, and shared purpose. The statement praised the government of Dominica for its cooperation. MMCD formally confirms that no legal proceedings or arbitrations are currently in effect. The statement praised the government of Dominica for its cooperation. Montreal Management Consultants Development MMCD wishes to unequivocally reaffirm its commitment to the completion of the Dominica International Airport, a project that stands as a cornerstone of of Dominica's national development and a testament to the enduring partnership between the MMCD and the government of Dominica. I'm Franklin Peter Moses, reporting for the Hot Seat.
So who's actually telling who's telling the truth here? Who's telling the truth? We've been told that MMC has taken the government to court. Can you give us an update on that, if that is really so?
Yes, they would have taken the government to court. I think they were badly advised on this matter. We continue to engage them on this, and the legal process or whatever process take its course. But clearly they've been badly advised by their actions. But the lawyers will deal with these matters. But this has not affected the airport construction. You see, it continues to take place apace, and we look forward to its successful completion.
All right, Dominica, we have a telephone line. Hello, are you there, caller? Caller, are you there? No. Who do you believe? Who do you believe at this time? Hello, talk to me. Yes.
Good afternoon, man.
Good afternoon to you, sir.
Matt, anything I say is purely speculative. Okay, Matt?
Yeah.
But I'll say it in a way that it is not, no one should be liable for saying it. We're citizens and we have to express some level of question. My query is that it seems to me that MCE has realized that Roosevelt Skerrit is afraid of the court. I've come to that realization already. That is why you've heard me saying court for court, take him to court. So MMC may have just threatened to take Roosevelt Skerrit to court, or may have taken him to court and cancelled it because Mr. Skerrit is afraid. Because when the court says this is so, that is so, and you have to abide by the court, he is afraid of the courts. I've always said, take him to court, make him answer to a judge. Enough said.
Enough said. On the telephone, hello, talk to me, yes?
Blessings to you, Mr. Pelty.
Blessings to you, blessings.
Thank you. Matt, I listened this morning. I did not even get tempted to call. In a country, how easily people can deflect their attention with the misdirected anger and energy, Matt. You can echo your opinion, you can share your views without somebody take it personal. I just listen to the Tom and Jerry show, as usual. Matt, you know when they have a thing saying, vole, diab gawi. You already hear that, Matt?
I heard that before, yes.
But even if you hear that, you don't even know what that means. So just don't talk there. Matt, they say the devil steal the thief steal the thief, and the devil is laughing, not referring to anybody necessarily. But Matt, when you're that abusive and ruthless and arrogant and brutal and disrespectful and abusive and loose, Matt, that is what that happened. Matt, isn't that true? Where they said that MMCD or MMCE have exclusive rights to sell our passport and to construct a major infrastructural program in Dominica, Matt?
That's what was reported.
That's what was reported. Now, MMCE or MMCD, Matt, when you have a snake with several heads, you don't know which one to cut, because the next one will snap at you. So all these little dirty games, mental warfare, psychological warfare. Now you have an Indian company. Isn't that so, Matt? Isn't the same Indian?
Yes.
Now, Skerrit, without any arrangement between MMCD or MMCE, gave some rights to that Indian company to sell passports and develop infrastructural work. So MMCD or E or P or G say, hell no. We have a written agreement. I am being given exclusive rights to sell passport and do every major infrastructural work. But boom, Matt, isn't the whole thing under investigation, Matt?
Mm-hmm.
So guess what? Let us finish with that, because you're going to find more than you bargained for. The real skeletons in the graves and in the closet, Matt. You there with me?
I'm right here. I'm still here. Yes.
So all of a sudden, Matt, you find the whole matter has been resolved outside of the legal procedure, where the government, that MMCG and that Indian company is concerned. Matt, the joke is always on Terry, who abuse us, and he goes elsewhere and is being abused. Matt, you know, if they put a bomb in the, you know, if Iran sent a bomb in the, how they call it, the UAE, the United Arab Emirates, do you know, Matt?
No, I don't know. No.
Okay, we know we have our money by up there, so I don't know if Iran sent a bomb, and if we can retrieve our money. So play games with us. Yeah, the other thing says these are the big fish that always eat down the small fish. Well, Matt, it has bigger fishes and bigger fishes and bigger fishes. Every puppet has a puppet master, and another puppet master is pulling the string.
So who are you believing at this time, Blessings? Who are you believing?
Blessing.
4493095. I asked the question. I don't think you answered this though. But anyway, let's move on. That MMC has taken the government to court. Can you give us an update on that, if that is really so?
Yes, they would have taken the government to court. I think they were badly advised on this matter. We continue to engage them on this, and the legal process or whatever process take its course. But clearly they've been badly advised by their actions. But the lawyers will deal with these matters. But this has not affected the airport construction. You see, what continues to take place apace, and we look forward to its successful completion.
Montreal Management Consultants Development Limited, MMCD, has denied reports that it has taken legal action against the government of Dominica, stating that no arbitration or court proceedings are currently underway between the two parties. This clarification follows a March 30, 2026 published article by Caribbean News Global, which claimed that MMCD had initiated formal arbitration proceedings against the government. According to the CNG, Project Director Carl Murad said arbitration was considered a last resort and reflected the seriousness of unresolved issues surrounding compliance with product conditions tied to agreements between the company and the state. In that article, Murad was quoted as saying that the dispute involved commitments that have not been fulfilled in accordance with our agreement, while noting that the company had invested major financial resources, personnel, and opportunity costs into the project. The write-up also highlighted MMCD's involvement in several major development projects in Dominica, including the Marigot Hospital, the Dominica Grammar School, the Maho School, multiple sports facilities, and most notably, the construction of the long-awaited international airport. However, in a subsequent statement, the company firmly rejected claims that legal action had been found against the government. It also indicated that it wished to unequivocally reaffirm its commitment to completing the Dominica International Airport project, describing it as a key part of the country's national development. MMCD further stated that no legal proceedings or arbitration are currently in effect against the government of Dominica, and emphasized that its relationship with the government remains grounded in mutual respect, transparency, and shared purpose. The statement praised the government of Dominica for its cooperation. MMCD formally confirms that no legal proceedings or arbitrations are currently in effect. The statement praised the government of Dominica for its cooperation. Montreal Management Consultants Development MMCD wishes to unequivocally reaffirm its commitment to the completion of the Dominica International Airport, a project that stands as a cornerstone of Dominica's national development and a testament to the enduring partnership between MMCD and the government of Dominica. I'm Franklin Peter Moses, reporting.
We've
for
been
the
told
Hot
that MMC has taken the government to court. Can you give us an update on that, if that is really so?
Yes, they would have taken the government to court. I think they were badly advised on this matter. We continue to engage them on this. And the legal process or whatever process take its course. But clearly they've been badly advised by their actions. But the lawyers will deal with these matters. But this has not affected the airport construction, you see, which continues to take place apace, and we look forward to its successful completion.
All right, Dominica, we're here. It's already 1:38 in the afternoon. Are you there, caller? Are you there? Sorry.
Yes, I am there. I am there.
Yes, sir. Thank you for holding. Yes.
Yes, how are you, sir?
I'm trying my best, sir.
Well, unfortunately, Mr. Peltier, I know you're a gentleman and a scholar, but you cannot believe the Prime Minister and you cannot believe MNC. They're both deceiving the people of Dominica. That's what they're doing.
You're saying they're fooling the people of Dominica. They're fooling the people of Dominica. That's it. Okay.
Correct. And on another note, last week, Thursday, I was in my dear country, homeland. And I will tell you something. I don't know if it's the city council or if it's the government of Dominica is responsible. They better do something about the sidewalks. People can fall and break their legs. You have to actually walk in front of cars. It's ridiculous. And then you take a proposal. There's a bar up there. They drop you next to the bar, and they will organize a walkthrough to go close to the waterfall. And to use the bar there, they are charging people $1 to use the bar. Why not? Why didn't the government of Dominica put a bathroom there so tourists can use the bathroom without being charged $1 to use the bathroom? I was in St. Kitts. I was in St. Croix. I was in St. Thomas, Antigua. None of these places where people have to pay $1 to use the bathroom. This is ridiculous. That's the kind of thing we show in tourists.
All right, caller. Thank you for your contribution here. Somebody's suggesting that the government actually wrote this letter. You notice there's no signature. If it's a PR campaign, what do you expect? Hello, talk to me. Yes, are you there, caller? Yes.
Yes, good afternoon,
but it's not a good thing to be telling untruths to the people of Dominica. What is the truth? Yes, good afternoon to you.
Yes, Matt?
Yes, sir.
I really believe that there's a bigger issue than whether or not MMC has taken the government of Dominica to court, as important an issue as that is. But as Blessings hinted, it may be that when thieves fall out, that is what you get. But the bigger issue, as some friends of mine would say, the real elephant in the room regarding the airport project is that this project has been proceeding without the benefit of planning permission from the government of Dominica. So it is, for all intents and purposes, in violation of the laws of the country, of the government of Dominica. And any companies or institutions involved, like MMC, like China Engineering, are themselves complicit in participating in a project that is illegal under our laws. You remember when the ambassador representing the government of China reminded us that they make sure, they take care that whatever they are participating in as China is not in violation of the law. Can you imagine why he would have had to make that point publicly? Well, the reason is simply, you ask planning, and several of us have written to planning from last year. I know of at least 3 different written attempts to get from planning, what is the status of this project? Does it have planning permission? And if it does, could we have a look at the environmental and social impact assessment study that is an essential prerequisite for consideration by planning of any project. And the public now knows that as regards debauche and the quarry and the mining, that planning is the agency of government. It has a minister responsible for planning. The cabinet is collectively responsible for planning. And the cabinet has taken an oath. Every single member of that cabinet takes an oath not to violate the laws of the country of Dominica. That's part of the oath. I know because I took that oath on 2 different occasions in the past myself. And the reason for that is to ensure that the people in charge of running the government are themselves going to be the watchdogs on behalf of the people of the country, that the laws of the country are not being violated. The issue before us is not this one. That's, I think, a diversion. In the real sense, is that an illegal project? If it is illegal, who is liable? Who is responsible if there are health issues raised for the workers or the residents in the area of Wesley as a result of that project? Who gets sued? Who becomes responsible? If that airport gets to completion and you have to go to the FAA and other international agencies to get official international permission for airliners with passengers to use that airport, who is liable? Who is going to make sure that this is a legal port of entry? And if it isn't a legal port of entry and an accident occurs, who do the families of the passengers on the airline take to court? So you understand, this is not just a simple issue of planning. There's a reason for planning permission. It is to ensure that the country that is hosting a project accepts the legal responsibility to ensure its proper completion in time. That's one issue. And I think that's the biggest issue related to this project. Because if it is an illegal project, MMC is in violation of the laws of Dominica because it's doing work on a project that is not legally approved. The Chinese engineering company is also in violation of the laws of Dominica because they would be working on a project that is illegal, that does not have permission. There's no reasonable country anywhere that you would go into a country and just begin a project without following the procedures and processes that ensure that it is legal and proper. And there are good reasons for that. So while it is important what you have raised, which is MMC suing the government, I think Blessings put his finger on it when thieves fall out. So let us be clear. Blessings also raised another issue that is probably equally important, but we have not yet discussed. With what is going on in the Middle East relating to the war that Israel and the United States have launched against Iran.
Mm-hmm.
And the situation with Dubai, the situation, do you realize, Matt, that most of the businesses that were headquartered where MMC is headquartered have moved their operations and their finances out of that country? Where is our money? Where is it situated? In which bank does it reside? Who do we go to ask for and get a statement of affairs on how many passports have been sold, where is the money, etc.? Because there's no mistake about it. When the Chinese company was not getting paid on time, who did they take the issue up with? Not the government. They took it up with MMC because they know that MMC holds the purse. MMC collects the money, keeps the money, and when the money is needed in Dominica, either somebody from here goes to get it or MMC sends somebody down to bring it. So let's be clear, Matt. We can divert and dance around the issues and do away and who's responsible and who you believe and who you don't believe. But the substantial issue is, how dare we continue to build projects over $1 billion in value without seeking planning permission when anybody, if you, Matt, have to go and build a house for yourself, no, you have to get planning permission.
That's true.
So let's be clear. And I believe that, if we manage our affairs mentally well, we will not allow ourselves to be diverted. Because you know why, Matt? And probably you are not going to be comfortable with what I'm about to say. We like to divert attention from the substantive issues facing us because we like the Wele, we like the Telele, etc., etc. But it seems to me that the happiest person in Dominica when we are diverted from the substantive issues is Mr. Skerritt himself. Because then he doesn't have to worry about opposition, change of government, elections. Because guess what, Matt? Even you and your radio station could be seen to be complicit with diverting attention away from these substantial issues of legality, of finance that are confronting Dominica. I hope that is not the case. I sincerely do. But it seems to me that even like the issue you raised this morning about UWP and Marigold, that's not an issue. That's not an issue. Compared to the big elephant issues that are in front of us, there's a huge issue of, I'm not going to divert your attention, but this one. So I'm urging you, my dear brother. I know there's a lot on your shoulder, etc., etc. But try to stick to the points, the points that are really shaping Dominica's future. If Dominica is found to be, extra legal on a project as big as this one, which is suggested that it will cost close to $2 billion of our dollars, Matt, you can see what that would have done to the credibility of Dominica as a country, as a sovereign country. Nobody will take us seriously. No investors will come here and do business. What are the name me 6 investors who have come to Dominica in the last 15 years, Matt? But I'm sure you can name me 12 investments and businesses that used to be in Dominica over the last 15 years that are no longer here. That's a substantive issue because it's an issue of jobs, it's an issue of earning foreign exchange, it's an issue of giving Dominica a chance to earn its way as a sovereign Caribbean country. So, Matt, please, I know you like, your ratings and everybody calling you and so on, but my humble suggestion is let us try to focus on the issues that are determining whether or not Dominica has a future. And in my mind, the biggest one is that the biggest project in Dominica's history has started and is operating without the benefit of the planning permission, and hence is an illegal project. And the planning corporation, if it had the backbone, would stand up and say so and stop the project until all the necessary documentation for planning permission is presented, which would then have to become available to the public.
And your critics might say, Arthur, I'm getting the point, but your critics might say that voices like yours may be anti-international airport. What would be your response, Hans?
Well, you see, Dominica has a population of 60,000. Mm-hmm. We supposedly have a population of 30% of that, or 40% under the age of 18. Mm-hmm. But I would suggest that the figure is much higher. A lot of adults in Dominica behave like children. They behave as if they don't have a brain. And I want to suggest that, my goodness, how can people who are advocating that we obey the law, how does obeying the law suggest that you are not interested in the project? Look at the Dominica Grammar School. Was there planning permission for the building that collapsed?
No.
Look at other buildings have gone up. The House of Darkness, was there planning permission for that structure when it went up? The Marigot Hospital. In other words, here we are pretending to be a nation of adults and thinking people. And then you have a bunch of jokers on the side. Every time you raise an issue, as long as it doesn't sound favorable to the people who they adore at the altar of politics, then they try to find some way to divert, which is what your question does. It diverts attention from the fact that the issue here is, how can you have a government which is sworn to protect the laws of the country, a police force, a planning department, a ministerial structure? You have permanent secretaries whose contract is that they will be the chief financial officers of their ministry, and part of that is to make sure that the laws of the country are adhered to. And when somebody raises question of that, it's as if like you see a man breaking a traffic law, and you raise a hand, and people will tell you, "Oh, you don't like me still." You see that mentality has to be dispensed with, Matt. If I raise an issue about something you are doing that is not quite right, does that mean I don't like you?
No.
And I don't want you? No. It means I'm trying to make sure that what you do, my dearest brother, is according to law, so you're not going to run the risk of losing everything. But we have that tendency. And those of us who for years have stuck to our guns on the environment, there are many people who said, "Oh, all you like trees more than all you like people." But ask yourself, is it not the same trees and the rivers and the waterfalls that are nature that are allowing thousands of Dominicans to make a living in tourism? So by protecting the source of their income, are we not protecting them? But no, people who don't want to see the reality and see the fullness of the logic of that will try to divert. I am not diverting. Matt, I am 80 years old. And I've been doing this kind of work for most of my life.
Mm-hmm.
And the real result is that at least we still have an opportunity to discuss these matters publicly. But I'm afraid that there are some who have done some improper things, not according to law. And whenever we raise issues, we're trying to do it well, do it correctly. Nobody's stopping you, but do it right. You want to drive, go and get a license, etc., etc.
But I think I'll tell you, give me a call. I need to share something with you. I won't share publicly just yet. But give me a call and we'll talk a little more, okay? A lot of the things that you just exposed this afternoon there, you might be surprised in the last 24 hours what just happened. So give me a call privately. We'll discuss it. I will talk again sometime. Hello, talking on the telephone. Are you there? Yes.
Yeah, my apologies, Matt. It's after I hung up.
Okay.
There's a delay
Yes.
in technology. I
I see
hear
that.
in the question after I hung up. My
All right.
apologies.
That's okay.
But let me give thanks to Afi. I saw he echo certain things I have concern about, Matt. Because, Matt, it seems like we really have a little myopic mentality. We focus on some little and trivial things, Matt. And Afi even alluded to it, pertaining to do with the diversionary tactics, whether accidentally, subconsciously, or deliberately. But, Matt, this is not Dolly House. Matt, there is something they call a smart bomb. That's how smart a bomb can be. But they're dealing with precision, Matt. You have to be precise. So, Matt, what I supposed to know? I cannot be believing in governance, Matt. The lives of the people are at stake. You might gamble with it, Matt, but what is at stake are the lives of the people. So, to go believe in one and disbelieve in the other, Matt, that's not a game, and that's what these criminals want to do. in this world of today, the Jeffrey Epstein world, where they become so sophisticated and impenetrable and impregnable, invincible, nobody cannot touch them. That's what it is. Nobody cannot touch them because their knees are on the neck, are on the scale of justice. Their knees are on the scale of justice. They will determine who live, who die, who work, who remain employed, who go to jail, who that are guilty as hell, and they walk in free. And poor people, children does not have the luxury, Matt, to determine, for the court of law to determine their innocence or their guilt. It's go and you're dead. You're in their custody and you're dead. Ron Emmanuel and you're dead. And let me don't say too much. But the fires, Matt, it will be discussed later, man. The fires.
Yes, let's...
Fire intelligence. So, Matt, I am just saying that level of abuse. When I give man, a long time I said that it's supposed to hang up his saddle, not to go and search the man house. I go to say his guns and everything, but they're just putting. He have his horse in a little meadow and smelling the roses and stuff like that. A veteran like that have to be fighting. And some fools now, sorry, Matt, my apologies on the listening public, or some cheap, inferior goods like the Chinese imported garbage, Matt, they find the best thing they can do is to deflect attention from the hardcore issue. You see, I talk about the bank in the UAE, Matt, you have to make reference to it.
Mm-hmm.
What if Iran put a bomb and whatever, and all of a sudden, well, MMC say, well, the money gone. He can't do nothing, Matt, when you're dishonest. As a leader, with little business, maybe you take a man weed, you take a man this, you take a man bike. But, Matt, the same thing about governance, where the lives of the people are at stake. And for you to think it's a game, World Bank give you money, you take it. Chavez give you money, you take it. Pass money, you take it. Everything you say, when all the finish says of your money, the man is indirectly telling you it's a thief, and MMCE and MMCB and PQ, A, B, C, D, and whatever, they know to have him in his neck. So when he talk about refraining our asthma, that is the man that is terrified, and we are conveniently, or by design, or accidentally, I don't know what it is, Matt, deflecting attention from the real hardcore issues. And man, remove their gloves, Matt, and it's time for raw fist fight. Thank you, Matt.
All right, thank you too. 449-3095, 449-3096, 449-3097. Hello, talk to me on the telephone.
Hello. Good afternoon, Matt.
How are you? How are you? Yes.
Yeah, the man from Lakusetlang is solid as a rock, my brother, by the grace of Jesus. And I want to thank you.
I see that, yes.
I want to thank you so much, but every time I call, I'm not going to continue one sentence, one word, one letter. I will tell you how much I appreciate the sacrifice and the work and the dedication that you have exerted in getting the programs. And so let me tell you, Supala, Mokadi Supala, if I don't know, I say, come at Telchi. So, Matt, I don't want to veer too much from your topic, but you started the program by playing two sides.
Mm-hmm.
The recent letter, whether it was fit, you observed that it wasn't even signed by anybody. So I have the same feeling that there might have been some propaganda-related thing behind that. And you played an excerpt from the conversation you had with the man himself, Roosevelt, where he did not deny at all. He didn't refute the point that MMC was in fact taking the government to court. You remember that? You remember that?
Of course.
He didn't say, oh no, that is nonsense, that's not happening. There was also another story, I think Rejock had a story. I suspect he's talking about a case number in the High Court. I know you saw that subsequent story.
Yes.
So there seems to be some truth in the reporting. And like as he said, these are the kind of meaty issues that we should be exploring. So I don't know veer too much from your topic, because some people believe that an international airport is like the panacea. It's the thing that's going to bring and solve all our problems in Dominica. So if we have an international airport, la vie do à Dominique, la vie do, c'est comme ça, oui. what is the point and purpose of an international airport if we haven't got a system? First of all, the violation of process in doing everything is a basis for future disaster. In other words, if you're going to build a house and you don't properly plan before you build it, you might find yourself ending up in enemy problems. That's how you have an architect measure and put rooms there and do it in such a way, design the roof, design the rooms, the foundation, the columns, and all these things. These things are not things to neglect. So when you neglect those things and you do stuff, and you can see in the building of the international airport, I'm not veering too far. They're now going to Bay Branche. They're now doing increasingly taking new lines at Wesley. It's a kind of a Vike approach. So the letter raises questions, not just about MMCE and the sale of passports. I'm pressing put it right. Donc, I'm not really interested in an argument that fight, because a fight between, my view, crooks and criminals, and I'm not interested in that, selling the passports. But the question of the process and the fact that some people believe that all we need is an international airport and all Dominica's problems will be solved. Recently, you must have heard the news, you probably read it, about Caribbean Airlines.
Mm-hmm.
They were operating at a loss in Dominica and several other countries.
That's true.
The point, and that people miss that, because an international airport, the function of success and development, that function doesn't reside in just having an international airport. There are several other things. An international airport in itself does not bring prosperity to a country. I think our leaders in government our leaders have missed that point. All these guys that say they're going to blow Bay Branche to smithereens, they're going to dig Bay Branche. They're missing the point that after they've done all that, and you have the world's largest airport, or the Caribbean's third largest in reality, that is not going to solve our problem. Dominica has not been exporting as on zonyo. On my going to export it. We're not exporting anything. We have a vibrant society. Because having an airport is not going to make Dominica a better place. So that war, and as Kerry saying, well, all that's important, in spite of what MMC say, the airport project is going to continue. The airport is going to be built. Well, many airports have been built. Many major projects have been built. And they just stand here. Right here in Dominica, we have this hotel at Cabrit, the Anichi, and then we have the Anichi somewhere on the west coast. Several other projects. We have another one, a big project in the middle of Roseau, and they've been built, and that's what it is. So at the airport, we're having the 3 airports in Dominica. If the international airport continues, we'll have the one at Canefield. We have the operational one at Neville Hall, and they go down another huge airport. Tell me, Matt, you're a very brilliant guy. I believe you're a very intelligent person. Do you think having 3 airports is going to make Dominica a better place, a more progressive country? 3 airports?
Repeat that question again.
Do you think that 3 airports rather than 1 are going to make Dominica a more progressive and prosperous country?
No. We have to focus, because I've been talking to a transportation guy who says, the international airport will just not cut it. That's his, word. He says, what we need is some good network in terms of our transportation, but we have a big bill for this international airport in the near future.
Exactly. But do you see anything that would suggest that the government is preparing to have an international airport? In other words, we have a sort of system in place for service, a system in place for export.
They're not getting ready. They're not getting ready. They're not ready just yet. They're not ready just yet.
The tourism sites are a mess. A guy said he had to pay to go to use the toilet. The roads are a mess. And look at the road from PD7 to Delhi. That would have been an interesting tour. If you have people coming in, even they fly or they take the cruise to travel from Delhi in one day, go to the Grand Day and come back and go back the next 2 days, take the stay in a hotel or 2. Dominica is not a vibrant economy. And having an international airport, in spite of the war between MNC and Kerry's hell bent on having an international airport, that's not going to solve our problems. So I think that war is like, as Afi was pointing out, it's important for us to know that they're fighting, and Kerry is saying, yes, there's a war, yes, we go to court. NMC is saying, something purporting to come from NMC saying there is no legal dispute, it's fake news. So the confusion is just what I consider emerging from the confusion of the airport itself, which, as Afi quite correctly pointed out, is being constructed in violation of the rules of law, of the rules of process. And when you see you don't take your time to do something properly, it results in pain and headaches in the future that you cannot anticipate because you did not do a proper job. So while this war is going on between government and we're questioning whether it is a fact or not, and all these things, I am telling you that if you believe that 3 airports in Dominica, the Kenfield Airport is virtually abandoned, it's bike race and truck race and horse race and donkey race they have in there now. So what are they going to do with Melville Hall after the international airport is completed? Have you thought about that?
That's a very good question. Very good question.
Exactly. So we have a problem. And I don't think this government is about working for Dominica. Because let me tell you, to maintain 2 airports, if you're going to maintain Melville Hall, right now to have security and lights at Kenfield, and an airport that's bringing nothing to Dominica, to have Melville Hall where you have, if you're going to keep it, you have to pay lights and security and all these other things, the contingencies. Then you have a bigger airport where you have to spend more money. The bigger the house flat, the more money you have to spend for maintenance and water and electricity and everything. So you think 2 operating airports in Dominica is going to solve a problem? So we have a government that doesn't really care about Dominica. It's a prestige thing. To me, it's a narcissistic thing, approach to development. And after 26 years, I want to end with the same chorus. This government is famished. They are megged. They have lost all appetite to do good things to Dominica. This government has abused and abused Dominica. And all these things, these skyscrapers and these icons and things they want to build to make scary look, oh, I built an international airport. Are not going to result in anything good for the people of Dominica. You have Melville Hall. Are you going to close it down after? Or are you going to keep it open and have a big international airport, which is going to cost a lot more to maintain, a lot more to sustain? And we haven't got money. The hospital is ill-equipped. You cannot pick up rubbish. You can't do those things, and you have to maintain an airport. Come on, Matt. I know you're a brilliant guy, and you understand that these things are just a total waste of money. They're just like statues erected to the glory of one man, and they have nothing. Absolutely, that airport project has absolutely nothing to do with the development of Dominica. If I want to go and fig, look at exporting. If I pack fig on dashing, they're exporting. And Dominica is such a rich country. So the airport, my brother, that's a moot point, you know. The point is why and how is that going to develop Dominica having 2 airports, Melville Hall, and you have Kenfield already, and the international airport of West End. You have bruised so many people of Wesley have been hurt. And you know the story about the school, Matt, the Ruby school, and all that story. So if somebody tell you Arundel Thomas does not support an international airport, it's because that's caused too much pain and suffering for the people of Dominica. My brother, thank you for your good work. I appreciate you.
Thank you.
Thank you for
Appreciate. Thank you. God bless you too. We've been told that MMC has taken the government to court. Can you give us an update on that, if that is really so?
Yes, they would have taken the government to court. I think they were badly advised on this matter. We continue to engage them on this, and the legal process or whatever process take its course. But clearly they've been badly advised by their actions, but the lawyers will deal with these matters. But this has not affected the airport construction. You see, what continues to take place apace, and we look forward to its successful completion.
We'll come back for more of your comments when we get back. Who is actually telling the truth? We'll do this and we'll come back after this.
This is our 14th Global View on Q show for 2026, and we continue to engage with our local, regional, and global Q family listeners and friends of Dominica. I'm Sheridan Gregoire, Mr. G. With me is my co-host, Justice Dr. Irving Andre, former Dominica UN Ambassador Crispin Gregoire, and Mr. Claudius Sanford. This show has two segments. One, we will comment on the recent fires in Roseau, and two, explore how have the Kalinago people of Dominica fared since 1930. Here are some talking points on the recent fires in Roseau. Are the recent fires in Roseau a coincidence? Why the spate of mysterious fires in Roseau? Is there any link between these fires? Who stands all together to benefit from these fires or to be blamed for setting these fires? Do they remind us of the burning of the Richtag? Are they related to arson that led to charges a few years ago? Who stands to gain from torching Roseau? Here's some talking points or questions, if you like, on how have the Kalinago people of Dominica fared since 1930? How have the Kalinago people fared since 1930? As the Carib Act of 1978 helped to institutionalize Kalinago chief and the Kalinago Council. Since Dominica attained political independence in 1978, is it still relevant after 48 years? What provisions of the Carib Act of 1978 need to be revised now? Were the indigenous people of Dominica included in the negotiations for political independence? Or are Kalinago people viewed by the wider Dominican population? Is there a greater embrace of the Kalinago people and their cultural attributes by the wider Dominican population? What impact did the United Nations Declaration on the Rights of Indigenous Peoples of 2007, the UN General Assembly High-Level Meeting on Indigenous Peoples, also known as the World Conference on Indigenous Peoples of 2014, and the annual UN Forum on Indigenous Peoples? What impact have these had on the Kalinago people of Dominica? Now, with the UN Declaration on the Rights of Indigenous Peoples reaching its 20 years of existence in 2027, is it time that the Carib Act legislation governing the indigenous people of Dominica, is it time that it be revised and aligned with the UN Declaration on the Rights of Indigenous Peoples and on the outcome document of the World Conference on Indigenous Peoples, in view of the mining operations and environmental degradation now affecting their communities? The Kalinago Council is a tribal government. What should be the central government's approach to working with this local government authority that is different from a village council? What significant contributions did the U.S. Save the Children Federation, Plenty Canada, and other donor organizations make to the Kalinago people? And why did Save the Children end its work with the Kalinago people in 1989? What was the impact on the Kalinago people of the UN Declaration on the Rights of Indigenous Peoples? What is the core legal principle that comes from the UN Declaration on the Rights of the Indigenous Peoples? What does that core principle of free, prior, and informed consent mean for the Kalinago people post-2007 when the declaration was passed? Did the UN World Conference outcome document lay out a framework for how member states would relate to indigenous people post the World Conference of 2014? And how are its core principles apply to the development approach of the Kalinago people? So going forward, what should the Kalinago people do to advance their development aspirations after 48 years of the Kalinago Act of 1978? And I would ask the panelists to tell me what they envisage as important development aspirations for the Kalinago people from now through the 2030s. So we look forward to the contributions of Justice Dr. Irving Andre, former Dominica UN Ambassador Gregoire, and Mr. Claudius Sanford on the recent fires in Roseau, and how have the Kalinago people of Dominica fared since 1930. Tune in for more Tuesday night on the Global View on Q, only on Q95, the big station.
People will rise up and say, I must go home. Stop it. Whenever it comes and the bucket that hurts you, I press my fresh pocket, come on, it's a my day. We are open 7 days a week with the top of the line products. Well, stock, supermarket and pharmacy, health and beauty care, fresh produce and meats prepared daily, hot and cold kitchen, ready to go meals, sandwiches, salads, and desserts at your fingertips. Easy access, located on the bayfront, environment friendly, and our staff are approachable and ready to assist. Have you figured out who we are? You got it, fresh, your one stop. Whenever it comes and your pocket that hurts you. Fresh market, never did I find it. Happy anniversary to Digicel. 20 years. Celebrate, connect, and win. 20 years with Digicel, celebrating relentless connectivity across Dominica, and we're giving back to you with more prizes and surprises. Digital in 20. If you with Digicel, then you have plenty. 20 years we rolling with Digicel. If you're not with us, then hear me well. I have my TV and still have my cell. I have my internet all from Digicel. 20 years of reconnection. So pay attention and stay connected to win with the right ultimate VIP experiences. Brunch voucher, 6 months, bill free. Win more. Simple. Activate, switch, stay connected. Win. Visit your nearest Digicel store or speak to an agent today. 2020, Digital in 20. If you with Digicel, then you are plenty. I say with Digi you can win. Celebrate, connect and win.
We've been told that MMC has taken the government to court. Can you give us an update on that, if that is really so?
Yes, they would have taken the government to court. I think they were badly advised on this matter. We continue to engage them on this, and the legal process or whatever process take its course. But clearly they've been badly advised by their actions. But the lawyers will deal with these matters. But this has not affected the airport construction, you see, what continues to take place. And we look forward to its successful completion.
Montreal Management Consultants Development Limited, MMCD, has denied reports that it has taken legal action against the government of Dominica, stating that no arbitration or court proceedings are currently underway between the two parties. This clarification follows a March 30, 2026 published article by Caribbean News Global, which claimed that MMCD had initiated formal arbitration proceedings against the government. According to the CMG, Project Director Carl Murad said arbitration was considered a last resort and reflected the seriousness of unresolved issues surrounding compliance with product conditions tied to agreements between the company and the state. In that article, Murad was quoted as saying that the dispute involved commitments that have not been fulfilled in accordance with our agreement, while noting that the company had invested major financial resources, personnel, and opportunity costs into the project. The write-up also highlighted MMCD's involvement in several major development projects in Dominica, including the Marigot Hospital, the Dominica Grammar School, the Maho School, multiple sports facilities, and most notably, the construction of the long-awaited international airport. However, in a subsequent statement, the company firmly rejected claims that legal action had been found against the government. It also indicated that it wished to unequivocally reaffirm its commitment to completing the Dominica International Airport project, describing it as a key part of the country's national development. MMCD further stated that no legal proceedings or arbitration are currently in effect against the government of Dominica, and emphasized that its relationship with the government remains grounded in mutual respect, transparency, and shared purpose. The statement praised the government of Dominica for its cooperation. MMCD formally confirms that no legal proceedings or arbitrations are currently in effect. The statement praised the government of Dominica for its cooperation. Montreal Management Consultants Development MMCD wishes to unequivocally reaffirm its commitment to the completion of the Dominica International Airport, a project that stands as a cornerstone of Dominica's national development and a testament to the enduring partnership between MMCD and the government of Dominica. I'm Franklin Peter Moses, reporting for the Hot
We've
Seat.
been told that MMC has taken the government to court. Can you give us an update on that, if that is really so?
Yes, they would have taken the government to court. I think they were badly advised on this matter. We continue to engage them on this, and the legal process or whatever process take its course. But clearly they've been badly advised by their actions. But the lawyers will deal with these matters. But this has not affected the airport construction, you see, what continues to take place apace, and we look forward to its successful completion.
All right, Dominica. Who should I believe? Who should the Dominica people believe? in Footsie. Huh? MMC, have you been exposed? PM, have you been exposed? What is the truth? I think there's some court documents I need to go explore. Huh? Hello, talk to me on the telephone. Are you there? Yes.
Matt, it really, all this jargon that's been thrown at us right now, it's really not substantial. Number one, it could be a ploy. We don't know if it is, but it could be a ploy. All these lies, there's a ploy behind it. Why are they lying to us and denying? So one way or another, they're trying.
So the question is, who is lying though? Who is lying?
But does it matter? They both could be lying, Matt. It could be a setup. We don't know. The fact that they're lying, we can conclude that they're setting us up so that they don't have to take responsibility for all our billions that are missing from the CBI. We first always understood that the CBI money was funding all these projects that MMCE is now complaining about. And all of a sudden, within a few days, everything is washed and everything is fine. And Roosevelt Skerrit made his statement that they were ill-advised and MMCE is happy and they're good with the government again. What is all that? I mean, does Roosevelt Skerrit have a stack of billions of dollars outside of MMCE that he can furnish to them and keep them quiet and happy? Where did Roosevelt Skerrit get all this money to make them happy all of a sudden when they were claiming the projects were not being supplied with all the funding? And so many different projects. It leaves the question, Matt, does Roosevelt Skerrit have his own MMCE on the side with fully furnished and ready to oil? That is the question. We thought that MMCE had all the money, but apparently they don't. Skerrit has it in another area, it appears. Not said.
All right. Thank you. Thank you.
And good afternoon to all of your listeners, those who are at home, and for those of us who are abroad. Matt, you're asking a question there, right? And to me, I have the answer, But according to enough said, when things like this are happening in our country, it leaves people with one thing, and that is for them to speculate. Matt, when you ask the Prime Minister the question in the press conference, he answers, Matt. He's a fixer. You remember what was going on in the Labor Department? He said, fix that. So he knew that there's a problem. He knew that they had court. They went to court. But he in his mind, he says, you know what, Matt, you asking a question, but we'll fix that. But apparently, it seems as if after he answered this question, whoever wrote this letter said that there was no legal thing against the government. They did not know that our Prime Minister had answered you, yes, there's a problem, but the lawyers will deal with that. They'll fix that. Because he's a fixer, You know he's a fixer, right? Okay, man.
All right, caller. Thank you. Thank you. More telephone calls. Hello, good afternoon to you. Yes.
Good afternoon, Matt Telty.
How are you, sir? How are you?
Matt, this is Boots on the ground, Matt.
Mm-hmm.
Boots on the ground.
Yes.
I'm listening to the different arguments and listening to the discussions. The one this morning was very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
And it's something that I have to deal with, to be dealt with. But the one this afternoon is even hotter. Matt, I don't know if you remember in the 70s, there was a wave between Dominica and Grenada. It was in the Caribbean. As we talk in airport. They had overthrown Eric Gary and there was an airport building in Grenada. You remember that?
I remember that. I was told about that. I was too young at the time. Yes, go ahead.
You were too young at the time. But apparently the airport that was building in Grenada was not just an airport for activities like people traveling back and forth Grenada, back and to Grenada. It was something that was identified to be the Russians and the same Chinese, whoever was financing, was building an airport that they could land in the Caribbean, in the region, free as they wanted. And Matt, our Dominica airport, with all the discussion we're having, the question is why such a huge airport when Dominica doesn't even have activities for the small airports? Matt, our hotels, we have hotels that is like, how we call them, elephants, white elephants. We have in Portsmouth. We have all the way Anchorage. We have all the way Cask Comfort. We have we have hotels all over. We have, they're not full into their capacity. So when we're about trying to build a huge airport, but is it the size of the plane that landing that is the activity that makes your country work? Huh?
Mm-hmm.
It's not the size of the plane. It's the activities you have in your country. And even the small airport can be very busy.
True.
You have place to put all the people. So that airport we're building, we need to focus. That may be a military street that has been going on there. Money is Dominican passport money the people spending. And up to a day like today, like Afimate say, we cannot have the plan approval for that kind of development. So Matt, our people need to look at things at a different level. When they talk about airport, it's not airport. I believe it's a connection with a certain set of people, and they're in charge and will be fully in charge of Dominica. If we doesn't ask for help to come and investigate what is happening with that airport, that is boots in the air, and I believe that's what is in the air. Bye-bye.
All right, thank you very much. Matt, you should look at what? Let me see. At the wording, they said currently, they did not say that they have they have not brought illegal action against the government. The operative word is currently. 449-3095. Well, maybe since the MMC declared that they were taking the government to court, maybe some things may have happened. Some things may have happened. 449-3095, 96 and 97. I remember Mr. Lennox Linton, God bless his soul, exposed the situation with the government of Dominica and the MMCE. Let's go back in time. Let's go back in time a bit there. Let's go back in time. I'll come back in a minute.
This question brings us to Roosevelt Skerritt's special deal with Montreal Management Company under the CBI program. This arrangement is using the people's money from the sale of the people's passports to fund housing for the people.
Every one of these houses that we are building under the CBI program belong to the state, 100%. So it is a state asset.
But Skerritt decided that instead of putting the people's money into the people's treasury, the people's consolidated fund, he would put the money into a special account.
It is treated somewhat like the fund option. So the fees applicable to the housing are the fees applicable if you to invest in the government direct monetary option.
All the monies from the EDF, the direct cash option, go into the state treasury. The fees for the housing program are the same as the EDF option, but Skerritt's sweetheart deal allows MMCE to use the CBI housing money to build houses and to make a development profit on the difference between the cost of the houses built and the amount passport money collected for the housing.
The housing program now is the premier program because now the housing program is doing better than the fund option.
Mr. Speaker, in fiscal year 2007-2018, citizenships were approved as follows: 1,073 under the government cash option, 285 under the MMC housing cash option. For fiscal year 2018-2019, there were 579 under the government cash option, 802 under the MMC housing cash option. For fiscal year 2019-2020, there were 396 under the government's cash option, 1,057 under the MMC housing cash option.
This housing program is illegally diverting CBI revenues generated through the EDF option from the Treasury into a special account. The program is exclusive to Montreal Management Company, which Skerrit has facilitated to cannibalize Dominica's flagship direct cash contribution program.
If we did not have this project, and we had this agent selling for Dominica, all of this money would have been part of revenue.
As it relates to funding of these projects, MMCE is utilizing financing secured from its own sources and efforts to construct and complete the Marigot Hospital and the health centers. Government has agreed to recompense MMCE for its construction of the facilities by providing to MMC allocations under the Citizenship by Investment Program, from which the company will be permitted to recoup and raise the financing required to construct these facilities.
See, facts are stubborn things, huh? All right, Dominica. It's already 26 to the hour of 3 o'clock. Are you there, caller? Yes. Good afternoon to you. Yes. Are you there?
Yes. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. But I don't want to leave this discussion today with it just being seen as a critique, right? Because there are options that have been also put on the table.
True.
2 years ago, there was a group of aviators, people who own their own private aircraft, and they came to Dominica to start to try to make full use of the Canefield Airport. Their first plan was to bring in 50 small aircraft over a period of 2 to 3 months that would land and stay at Canefield Airport. These are rich people from the United States, and they would spend their money, rent, stay in hotels, travel, do tours, etc., for at least a week each of them.
Mm-hmm.
So that was a plan to take advantage of Dominica's small size and small airport, but they could receive the private aircraft. You know what happened to that? It was brought to the attention of people in the tourism ministry. We had the involvement of a senior official from the port authority who was guiding the possible use of the airport to generate these new revenues using private aircraft. Those people came to Dominica. The main person is somebody I knew. The guy came, 7 of them stayed here with us at Exotico. While they were here, making arrangements and plans for, the details of the project, which the official from the port knew all about. The police came and caused me to wake these people up from their beds in the different cottages. And the police took those people away. and brought them to the police station in Roseau
I
and
remember
kept
that.
them there for the day night.
I remember
And they were asking them one question. They were asking them, why all you were staying at that man's place?
Mm.
You understand what I'm saying?
I
So
understand.
this is to put in place the fact that many of us who are critical of things being done badly, not properly, have also been there with propositions and options and alternatives that would bring fresh business, not to my property or one other property, but to the whole tourism industry. And it was crashed. It was crashed. It was smashed by the police on behalf, I can only say, of the government. And because while they were claiming that they want investors and investment and bring more business, there they were destroying a huge opportunity. And these were serious people. One of the people in the group was a federal judge from the United States. There were two others who were pilots. One was a test pilot for the F-35 jets that are used by the United States in war. So, I mean, that's the level of person who came because they were looking for new places to come and spend time and do business with, and they would make investments in other places, etc. So I just want people to know there's no lack of ideas or interest on the part of people like myself and many others who want to see Dominica progress. But what smashes it is that because we are not part of a certain camp, because we're not bowing down and generating at the altar and saying, yes, boss, yes, boss, yes, boss, nothing is allowed, and nothing we propose is allowed. And I can tell you about 3 other projects related to tourism that I personally presented to the government, which were smashed because it came from the wrong person. Now, that is a problem in a small country because there are not too many Afi Martins in Dominica. There are not too many Jerry Brisbanes. There are not too many Arundels. So let us be clear. The call for unity is not just about politics and coming together about elections. And the call for unity is let's put all our heads, hearts, and hands together to grow the economy so that those young boys sitting on the side of the road in Gutter, in Yampies, in Tarish Pit, and wherever will have something to look forward to and will get themselves into less problems. But when you use police to come and take potential investors away from Dominica, what are you doing? What is the message? Is the airport you want to build? But you have an airport that people came here to make full use of and you send them away, you frighten them away. So let's be clear, Matt. Put fair and square the facts of life on the table for Dominicans. Because nobody should have the luxury of making excuses for bad governance, corrupt governance, permanent secretaries who don't even understand the nature of the job that we have, etc., etc. Let's put our heads together, and together, we can turn Dominica into the most beautiful and prosperous living place on earth. But we have to stop the foolishness. Thank you.
Afi, thank you very much. Thank you. A great reminder there. You have tried. At least Carrot was honest with you, somebody says, for once. He admitted that the MMCE took the government to court. It was not an oversight and not a mistake. He stated the facts, and MMCE took the government to court. Yes. You want to hear it again? From your Prime Minister? We've been told that MMC has taken the government to court. Can you give us an update on that, if that is really so?
Yes, they would have taken the government to court. I think they were badly advised on this matter. We continue to engage them on this, and the legal process or whatever process take its course. But clearly they've been badly advised by their actions. But the lawyers will deal with these matters. But this has not affected the airport construction, you see, what continues to take place. apace, and we look forward to its successful completion.
And even my friend Naren gave us a stern reminder there in 2024 when he sang this song.
Fire! We are constructing the international airport. Decades and more, Dominican International Airport. Some say it's or what's a rain? China to a board. Many years down the line, better rules introduce Xi Jinping. Instructions Xi Jinping that make the whole country sing. Now ticket prices rising, while the masses there falling. Free housing and road nets working. Now the airport start moving. They say MMC holding the keys to front loading. The shipping airport.
Good afternoon to you, Naren Murphy. How are you doing there? 4493095, just a reminder, huh? Who's front loading? On the telephone, are you there, caller? Yes? Sorry. Asking the question, who's lying? My opinion is the habitual liar is lying. I see a few people trying to send voice notes, but be quick. We don't have too much time. It's already 16 to the hour of 3 o'clock. We've got to go. Somebody's adding here, Matt. What the current Minister of Finance said made absolutely no sense. He first says MMC is building these facilities, sourcing their own funds, but at the same time, the government reimbursed them by giving them the approval to raise funds through the CBI process to recoup the cost. You must have a bunch of clowns in Parliament. How on God's earth this makes sense to anyone? Who oversees the cost of these structures and how much revenue MMC generates from the date of citizenship? How do they raise funds independently, but at the same time sell citizenship so that themselves can pay back themselves for independent financing? Oh, I'm so puzzled at this time. On the telephone, hello, talk to me. Yes, are you there? Call up.
Christian. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
When I went to school, primary school, there was a thing, teacher E2 and all those teachers used to analyze and pause. They would give you a sentence and they tell you to analyze and pause or pause it, and you have to break down the structure and things, the sentence.
Mm-hmm.
But I think we need to teach that again. Because what the MMCE latest letter saying, there is currently no legal proceeding. Currently. He did not say there had been no or there has been no legal proceeding. He did not say that. He said there is currently no legal proceeding. That is simple. I will not say anything more on that, but I want to tell you, Matt, for the persons who are talking about the CBI, I want them to go back to SRNO 37 of 1990 of 2014, which is now SRNO 8 of 2025.
Well, who's the person? Lawrence? I wanted to call his name so he can answer to himself. Who's the person? Who's the person? You're talking about Lennox?
Yeah, all of them.
All right.
All of
So
them,
your point is what? Your point is what?
Huh?
Your point is what?
No. I just, because you said the Prime Minister say one thing and MMCE is saying something. I'm saying MMCE note is saying there is currently no court proceeding. That is totally different from if they had said there has been no or there is.
Are you saying that they have halted all proceedings against the government of Dominica? Is that what you want to say?
But not, if I tell you there is currently no, it means yes, there was. But currently,
so what is the Prime Minister saying? What is the Prime Minister? Is he saying what? What is the Prime Minister saying? He's saying that I'm saying, but he's saying that there are proceedings. Only currently today, there's no proceeding. Go ahead.
When you ask the Prime Minister the question, if he told you there has been legal proceedings set up by MMCE,
right, and the lawyers will proceed,
and he will deal with it. So there has been, but MMC is now telling you there is currently no. What that would tell you, it means for the proceedings that was there, they have settled their matter and things. So basically,
so what are you saying? You seem to have some more information. You're saying that there's no proceedings as we speak, but there's a possibility that it may continue.
But MMCE has written. I'm reading it before me.
I'm asking you, do you expect them to continue, Clarence? I'm asking you. You say no currently. Do you expect them to continue? Yes or no?
How can I know that? You ask me a stupid question.
So you want to call my question stupid? I ask you a simple question. You cannot answer the question, but you want to proceed. Hello, talk to me, Clarence. I want to get down go down the gutter with you. Hello, talk to me on the telephone. Yes. You say I allow you to ask your questions. Hello, talk to me. Yes.
Matt, Clarence is trying to blame someone. That's what he's trying to do. He's trying to blame someone for the lies that have been thrown at us. What we detect as lies or discrepancies, to say the least. The one is saying one thing and the other is saying the other thing. Yes, Mr. Skerritt admitted that there was. He admitted that there was. And now MMC has withdrawn, apparently.
And I wonder who did write that press release that somebody was indicating.
But it's no fault of anybody of the colors of Q95 or the opposition. But somehow Clarence wants to make it sound as if it's our fault. That is the problem with Clarence. He's trying to defend Skerritt's lies by trying to blame us. That's his technique, Matt. Enough said.
Hello, talk to me. I pay attention to Clarence sometimes, but sometimes, let's take another voice before we go. Let's go.
Good afternoon, Matt, and good afternoon to all Dominicans.
Good afternoon, yes.
Matt, the more I think of that situation,
yes,
with work commencing at the Babewash area, and MMC denying they took the government to court, even if Roosevelt Skerritt accepted that MMC had taken them to court and they were ill-advised. The more I think of it, the more it smells of corruption. The more it smells like a compromised government with its compromised institutions. Matt, simultaneously, work has commenced in Babewash to the point where the river is chocolate brown. And MMC openly stating that they did not take the government to court. Matt, who is accommodating MMC by breaking the laws of our land, Matt? Because, Matt, we have not heard anything from the planning department to say that work had resumed. So what is really going on in Dominica, Matt? But, Matt, you know what I am thinking of? It is interesting, Matt, that we heard Anthony Charles. We heard his position. He openly said he supports the poisoning of the Concord River. Well, not directly saying he supports the poisoning, but he said he supports the mining. We heard Kozia Frederick as well. Kozia Frederick is in support. But we did not hear from the two independent senators. We did not hear anything as to whether they agreed or whether they disagreed with Kozia Frederick and Anthony Charles against keeping that river healthy for the conquered people who had voted for them and trusted them to represent them. Matt, I personally did not hear them speak out against the evil unleashed on their constituents. I did not hear the village council either. So where are those representatives, the government selected representatives from Marigot to speak up on the behalf of the conquered people? Where are they, Matt? Matt, I want to tell the conquered people that their water, their river is being poisoned. And if they don't show care for their health, their well-being, and even their lives, then those who poison their water won't give a damn either, because they're not showing like they have concerns. And Matt, what kind of government would do that? To know that they are poisoning the river and allow it. I understood that there's evidence in the ESIA that arsenic and mercury test results from Pegwa River was 500 times greater than the acceptable level of the WHO. Matt, we all know arsenic causes cancer and mercury causes kidney damage and severe developmental defects. So what are the conquered people doing? What are they doing, Matt? Matt, these people, they have just decided to like sheep to the slaughter. Failure to take action is detrimental to you and you and you, every one of you, including the laborites who feel that they should not speak up because they got a house or it's their party or what have you. What are you waiting to show care and love yourselves above the politicians and be loyal to yourself and your health and your wealth? Matt, something is wrong with these people. Thank you, Matt.
All right, somebody says, tell Clarence this matter was out there for weeks. MMC never commented. But when Skerrit confirmed publicly, all of a sudden they are putting out a statement to pull the wool over our eyes. There was a major misunderstanding that led two good friends to go to court. We want to know what it was or is. We the people have a right to know.
Madam Boboy Madi, La Pali, Idipoti Brights and Company. Yele Rice and Company, the only company I know with Brights was cooking water and back and neck. Now in the last valley short, I said Brights. In the old plus nefla, where you have a roofing material and seamless guttering. Yes, 24 gauge governors, all colors. Ever open the Pugas Peel agent, they program the computer to give you the exact size you want. And the seamless guttering, aluminum, that can better withstand the elements you have in an easy way. So no leaking after a while. And so much more. Brights and Company, the by 8 bank close to the old mill at Enfield. Telephone is 617-2468.
I simply, Mr. Clarence Christian, go back to the full statement from the MMC. had been filed against the government. Check that word and come back to me, okay? On the telephone, yes. Are you there, caller? Yes.
Yeah, but just quickly,
before we wrap up, yes.
What I listened to Skerrit stating pertaining to do with they were ill-advised.
Yes.
But the lawyers and the court and whatever, how could a matter that is ongoing? You would know it. The whole process did not exhaust itself or exhausted. How do you know they were ill-advised? They were only advised. They used that again and talking a matter, and that is where I am saying, Matt. These are the people who have the knees on the neck of the scale of justice, and they determine who live and who die, who go to jail, who get charged, who get arrested, who get firebombed, and all kinds of things like that, Matt. So that is why I'm frightened. All of a sudden, Matt, push comes to shove, Anthony and Skerrit figure out when they're under pressure because the whole scheme is being investigated by external forces. Am I correct, Matt? I'm that arrangement. Oh, we are no longer, we are discontinuing this and we are not, that is not, no, my brethren, their partner coming and ask me the other day, if I know partner, they call him Clarence Washfair. I tell him, don't come and talk no foolishness. Who are you talking about? Clarence Christian? He tell me not to Washfair, not to deny his name. Clarence, certain times you have to know when to relent, my brother, because you're just putting your foot in your mouth to defend the indefensible, Matt. And what is going on in Dominica is the heights of corruption. And guess what? The more they wiggle, Matt, the deeper they sink. Thank you.
I want Cornelius to go back to the paragraph. However, in a subsequent statement, the company firmly rejected claims that legal action had been filed against the government of Dominica. Sometimes I always tell you, think before you speak. You keep repeating the same mistake over and over again. It's better to be thought of as a fool than to open your mouth and remove all doubt. On that note, Dominica, I'm gone. We'll be back tomorrow. The deeper you wiggle, the deeper you sink.
I know some of you wouldn't believe me, but if a lie asked me good friend Mackie, it was a big lying competition to see who they will crown as lying champion. Lions from all parts of the West Indies. Big shot all them foreign countries. From a feel about 1,000 or so entry in 2 days, he boiled down and leave just 3. I had me iron, I did lion, because I know he does come with some good ones. But they had a younger fella named T-Bo, come from some village here in Tobago. He said his father is Tobago's best fisherman. Catch a fisherman by